Hello, my name is Rick Bunch. I'm an environmental educator here at Lory State Park, and my cameraman partner here today is John Young, and so we thank him for being with us. We are part of a volunteer group here at the park called Friends of Lory State Park, and our purpose is to support the mission and education of the park. And one of the things that we like to do is bring school groups out and have community groups come to talk about environmental education and do science lessons. It happens that there are a couple animals that you would not normally consider to be omnivores. We have these here in the park, would be the squirrels. And the reason they would be classified as omnivores, yes, they eat nuts, they eat berries, they eat fruit, but they also, the red squirrel also eats birds' eggs and maybe baby birds and maybe mice. And so that would classify it as an omnivore. The other squirrel that we have here in park is very special. It's a squirrel called the Barrett squirrel. And notice that it's different. It has these long tufts of hair on its ears. And these squirrels live exclusively in the ponderosa pine. They too are omnivores because they'll eat the ponderosa pine seeds. They eat the bark, they eat the inner bark and the fungus on the inside there. But they too eat, well, primarily carnivore. Would be carrion, because it's the meat of an animal that something else has killed along the way. Okay, so now the largest of our omnivores in the park will be the black bear. And if you'll look up in the tree, we in fact have a black bear cub that climbs a tree. Now, both the adults and the cubs climb trees. And a lot of times the adult bear will climb a tree during the day and rest there and sleep. And we call them black bears, and you notice that the bear here is black, but not all of them are in fact black. We have one here that's almost blonde. And if you have a brother or sister in your home, and let's say you have dark hair and your brother or sister has blonde hair, why is that true? Your brothers and sisters, you're in the same family. Well, it's this thing called genes in your body that controls things like the color of your hair and your skin and so forth. So, not all black bears are black. We have a skull of a black bear, and because it is an omnivore and it does in fact eat meat, notice it too has the large canine teeth in front. But now, because they also eat berries, they eat the plums in the park, they eat the cherries in the park, so they eat fruit, they'll also eat grass, and they have teeth in the back of their mouth that are flat, and that allows them to chew these things. So canine teeth in order to perhaps capture prey, but also the flat teeth allows them to chew. But because they are an omnivore and because they will capture small animals like rabbits and mice, notice that their eye sockets are also in the front of their head. I mention this because the deer, and we don't have a skull of a deer, but the eyes of the deer are on the side of its head. And as a result, it can see about 300 degrees, but it can't really focus on something that is not moving. Whereas the animals of prey, their eyes in the front of their head, they can actually focus on what animal it is or their prey that it is that they're going after. The next of our omnivores is a cousin of your dog at home, and that would be the red fox. And again, skull of the red fox, notice the eye sockets in front of its head. Notice its canine teeth, but also notice that it has flat teeth in the back here, and that enables it to eat things that you not normally think of. Have you ever seen your dog in your backyard eating grass? Well, foxes will also eat berries, but they eat insects, they eat small mammals, mice, and so forth that they can catch. And notice how nice and fluffy the skin of our fox is, and that's probably an indication that when it died, it was in the winter and it had this heavy coat that would keep it warm. And notice also that we have a red fox here that you can see over my shoulder. The next animal that we would have is also a cousin of your dog at home, and also a cousin of the fox. That would be the coyote. And again, notice that the coyote skull is almost exactly like the fox skull. It's just larger. Eye sockets in front, large canine teeth, and teeth in the back here where it can chew whatever it is captured or whatever it is it's eating. Both the fox and the coyote are very adaptable, and there will be coyotes, of course, right here in the city of Fort Collins, but they will be in Denver, and they'll just be everywhere, and they don't mind being around people so much, and that's becoming a problem because we have incidents where the coyotes have started to get just a little too testy with people, and especially your dogs. The next omnivore that we want to talk about would be the raccoon. The raccoons are interesting animals. They do eat fruit, they eat apples, they eat berries, but they also eat eggs, they eat baby birds, and as you probably well know, they like to eat garbage. And so we need to protect the raccoons by making sure that our garbage cans have lids on them that are tight so that the raccoon can't get in them. One of the characteristics of the raccoon that people notice is that they like to live around water. They eat frogs, and they'll eat fish, they'll eat tadpoles and so forth. And people think that when they dip their food down into the water that they're washing the food. They think they're very clean. That's probably not exactly accurate, because the raccoon's front paws are very sensitive, and it's almost like the fingers on our hands. And what they like to do is take those morsels of food and feel around on it so that they can get the best tasting, those tasty morsels of the food. And so that's why they're dipping their food in the water. The next animal then that we have to look at will be skunk. And of course the first thing that comes to mind with skunks is, oh, the odor. They stink. Well, that's a defense mechanism for the skunk. They don't like to be bothered. Your dogs, people, and so if you encounter a skunk and it turns its back on you and sticks its tail up in the air, you probably better move, because they have a gland under their tail that has this oil that they spray, and that's what the stink comes from. But notice also that the skunk's skull, as an omnivore, has the same characteristics as all these other omnivores we've talked about. They will go after mice, they'll go after birds, and so their eye sockets are on the front of their skull, and their teeth, again, the canine teeth and those chewing teeth in the back of their jaw. So that gives you kind of a tour of the animals that we have in Lory State Park. We hope that this has been enjoyable and informative for you. But more than that, we hope you'll come and see us in Lory State Park so that we can talk about these things and show them to you out here in the park. So thank you very much.